The United Nations has quietly released a major update on war-torn state of Syria, and it could change the game for international diplomacy. According to unreleased findings obtained by diplomatic sources expected to be published next month, there are currently no active ties between al-Qaeda and Syria's new interim leadership under HTS. This revelation could open a door for United States to push for removal of UN sanctions on Syria's interim government and its leader Ahmed al-Sharaa. Hello and welcome, I'm Shivani Singh, and in this report we'll break down the shift in global perception towards Syria's new government, Donald Trump's surprise support, and why China and Russia are still not convinced. HTS, once al-Qaeda affiliate known as al-Nusra Front, broke with the terror group back in 2016. They are now head of Syria's interim government after overthrowing Assad's government in December last year. The new leader, Ahmed al-Sharaa, now Syria's interim president, who, according to the UN, is considered more pragmatic than radical. The report, based on intelligence from member states, says while some in HTS still hold extreme views, no institutional ties with al-Qaeda remain. And here's where it gets even more interesting. US President Donald Trump is backing the new leadership. After years of sanctions, Trump announced in May that US would lift economic restrictions on Syria. Speaking from Florida last week, he explained the reasoning behind the move. Listen to this.
Well, they're great people, and the man that is leading them has a reputation. You know, he's the head of some pretty tough organizations, and a lot of people criticize me for that. I took off the sanctions because if I didn't do that, they wouldn't have had a chance. And Syria has a chance. You know, the people are great. They work hard. They're very smart. It used to be a place of professionals, accountants and lawyers and doctors and high academic credentials in that part of the world. And I think it's going to work out great. I took off the sanctions and they were very appreciative. They were shocked, but they were very appreciative. We're giving them a chance at survival. With the sanctions, it couldn't have worked.
Last week, Washington officially revoked HTS terror label. As per reports, a senior State Department official confirmed that Washington is now reviewing all remaining terrorism-related designations tied to HTS and Syria at the United Nations, signaling that more diplomatic steps may be on the way. Lifting the sanctions could jumpstart Syria's broken economy, attract Western investment, and weaken extremist factions still active in the region. Trump and his advisors argue that it also aligns with US interests, limiting Russian and Iranian influence. But not everyone is convinced. Russia and China, both permanent members of the UN Security Council, are raising red flags. Russia's ambassador to the UN, Vasilina Benzia, has insisted that Syria's security forces must only include vetted professionals, clearly signaling concerns about former militants being absorbed in the state structures. Now, there are reports that estimate over 5,000 foreign fighters remain in Syria. While US supports plan to integrate them into new Syrian army, others fear this could backfire. The UN warns that some fighters have already defected, accusing al-Sharaa of betraying their cause, raising the risk of internal conflict and making al-Sharaa a potential target. Now the real test begins. For the US, removing UN sanctions on Syria won't be easy. Washington must secure backing from full Security Council, including Russia and China, two nations with deep reservations about Syria's new direction. Yet for United States, the bet is clear that engaging with Syria's new leadership could stabilize the region, curb Iranian and Russian influence, and reduce the risk of another failed state becoming a terror haven. But the biggest question is the world ready to embrace a former militant group turned government, and can fractured alliance overcome old mistrust for the sake of regional stability? For Trump, it's a very bold shift from hardline sanctions to diplomatic engagements, even as the risks of internal backlash remains high. We'll continue tracking this story for you. Stay tuned for more global updates. Thank you for watching. See you in the next report.
News18.com marches way ahead of the Times of India with 38% more users on native and social platforms. Network 18, the undisputed leader of news networks, way ahead of the Times.